This is the concierge, sir.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Concierge Confidential. I'm your host, Brian Ortega, and in today's episode, we're going to be doing a little bit of reviewing here on the episode. So we will be talking about Omnia Dayclub, which I actually, along with the rest of the department over at Fontainebleau, was invited to, along with a bunch of other departments, sales, the whole thing, to check out. Get a little sneak peek before the grand opening, which is going to be today as of this recording. EDC weekend, which is, they couldn't have planned it any better for opening a day club in Las Vegas. Also, I was able to check out the new Mayfair Supper Club show. I have thoughts. I know some of you have gone ever since, they changed the show over, and some of you have really loved it. But I do have thoughts on the new spot. And also, I did like a question and answer thing on Instagram, which if you guys, ever tune into those, I really enjoy those. So when I put those out, just feel free to put whatever question you have. I'll try to answer to my best abilities, because some of them are good. Like I had a couple good ones that I had to really think about for a while, and took me a while to answer. So with that being said, we're going to dive into the episode coming up next. Let's talk about the invite over at Omnia Dayclub. This was that big structure that was being built in front of Caesar's Palace, and I think they're also building a temporary structure where they're going to be doing like a motorcycle trick, which actually looks pretty cool, in front of the fountains, which so glad that Evel Knievel jumped over the first time, unsuccessfully landing on the other side, and now it's become like a thing that you just jump over the fountains. It's just such a funny thing. Also, for those of you wondering how you prepare back in the 60s on jumping over anything, but jumping over the Caesar's Palace fountains. Did I say Bellagio earlier? I meant Caesar's Palace. The Caesar's Palace fountains. Evel Knievel woke up and, whatever, put his jumpsuit on. He went downstairs. He put $100 on black, and it lost. He took a shot at Jack Daniels and jumped on his motorcycle. And that is where we were as a country in the 60s. Probably would have helped if maybe he didn't take that shot at Jack, because then maybe he would have hit the ramp straight and didn't fall and break a lot of bones in his body on the other side. But since then, people have done it before and are done it in the past, and they're all good. But anyways, back to Omnia Dayclub. So Omnia Dayclub is a big giant structure that's now built in basically a vacant parking lot in front of Caesar's Palace on Las Vegas Boulevard. And really good design. I have to say that, so essentially what happens is, for the day club, because there's really no place to have like a line, you actually end up going through the Omnia nightclub entrance, which is very easy for directing people to that area. So once you do get into Omnia, you're going to actually go through the passageways up to the second floor through the stairs. So sorry, ladies who are wearing any heels trying to go to this day club, but you have to go up to the second terrace level, and then from there you'll be directed to a bridge that was specifically built that goes over the driveway into Caesar's Palace and gets you connected to Omnia Dayclub on the other side. So Omnia Dayclub, once you get to the other side of the main building, it actually is a day club, and then also has a sky deck. The sky deck actually overlooks the Las Vegas Strip. They actually have tables for essentially lunch and dinner if you wanted to do it. I think it's supposed to be over, and I actually asked a couple of the cocktail waitresses when I was there, or bottle service girls, however you want to look at them. I asked them, are they going to be using those during the day club, and so on and so forth. So they did say that the sky deck, which beautiful space, overlooks the entire pool, that area will be used for table space. They'll probably take out the tables when it's just the day club, so it's just more space to sort of hang out at. And then during the days that they don't have the day club running, it'll operate sort of like a lunch spot where you can go and have, obviously lunch, maybe some brunch, and get beautiful views of the Strip. So when you enter, these events are very unique, just because these events are basically, what are they? They're like mixers. They're essentially there to, kind of like a play date. They are essentially there to educate people on the space themselves. I don't mind these events. These events are actually quite fun. There's usually lots of free food. Sometimes there's like a lot of free booze, which is nice. Not as much at this one though. Very limited. They had like Bacardi, they had tequila, and they had Bacardi's rum, and they also had vodka, and then they had all their like semi-signature drinks. Which, if you follow me on Instagram, I posted the picture of the green one. Is it mango? It's not mango. It is a frozen mojito, which was not bad. It was good, very sweet, very tough for the tummy, but not too bad. I actually went. I went alone, and then I actually met up with a bunch of people from Fontainebleau, which was quite nice. And they actually had a table, which was really cool. So I haven't been at a table in a very, very long time. But really, the table was fun to just be able to hang out, and it was a good spot. But it wasn't like full on day club. It was basically like a corporate event. Essentially, everybody somewhat was dressed corporate type. I wasn't. I was just perfectly, just so everybody knows. Honestly, the thing is, like, when you've been in the city for quite a while, like, you understand, dress codes. And, it's just one of those things. I did talk to one of the cocktail waitresses, and I think this is actually would be really fun for an episode, is to just explain to people, mostly the guys on here, just not be weird. And I have to say, like, when you guys follow me on Instagram, and I checked you guys, and honestly, every time you guys follow me on Instagram, I will go look at your Instagram. So most of it is to get sort of like a makeup of like who listens to the podcast. And I have to say, get lots of couples. I usually get lots of couples who are in their like late 20s, 30s, 40s, some 50s. But I have a very like specific demographic, which I love because they're like me, which is very nice to talk about. It makes it easier to sort of like break down the episodes. But there are some people, and maybe not this particular demographic, but need to like understand talking to workers in day clubs, bars, restaurants, anywhere in Las Vegas, because I have to say that I was familiar with Vegas's game when it came to cocktail waitresses, and I have to say, blown away by the cocktail waitresses working at Omnia Dayclub. And I've gone to a lot of day clubs. Like, it's not like my first time. I have Instagram. I follow a lot of people who actually work at a lot of day clubs. And it was unbelievable the level of, as we say in the biz, talent that was at this day club. So it is actually very important. I do have to say that. It is very important for a day club for your cocktail servers to be, we'll just say it, hot. It's part of the experience. I know it sounds so misogynistic. It's so terrible, but this is the business we've chosen, as they say in The Godfather. But really, it is one of those things that they are your best PR, your best outward-facing people, and they represent the pool. They represent the location, essentially. And the thing is that a lot of them are beautiful, obviously, but a lot of them are very smart. A lot of them have a lot of other businesses. Yes, a lot of them can be obviously very superficial, just like anybody in this town. I mean, don't get me started on nightclub hosts. Although some of them are very nice. I know one, his name is Elliot. He is sick. He is really, really great. But this is kind of like it. And I have to say, they have really great uniforms. Like, I really like the color. It's like sort of like a teal green, which is like looks really, really nice. I think they have really cool necklaces that say Omnia on it. Really great branding. And they're all very, very nice, and they're very, very pretty. It's amazing. And I talked to one, and she actually worked at the Palm Tree Club, which is the old Wet Republic, and then she moved over here for her season, and then I believe another cocktail waitress, she worked at Marquis, and then moved over here. So it's cool. I think living in the city helps a lot, knowing the questions to ask and not ask. Because the thing is like you want to be not unassuming. And again, this is just being a nice person. Is that just chill? Like you don't have to hit on all these girls. Like do whatever. They're going to flirt back with you because they get it all the time. But unless you are essentially a 21-year-old Prince William. Or Prince Harry, they're probably not going to go home with you. It just happens that way. It's just the way that it works here. Sorry, it's weird. I don't have a shot because I am not Prince William, Prince Harry, but I would say that I have a slightly more of a shot because I live here. But even so, I usually don't try to put that on them because you'll never see each other again. That's the way that it works. But please have a great time while you're here. That'd be a fun episode. I'd really kind of search into that one because I think that'd be kind of a fun thing to talk about. Yeah, I think so. So, other than that, ended up going and walking through the day club itself. They have a couple different bars. They have a bar on the sky deck. They also have a bar which is right down the stairs. They also have one by the DJ booth. Very large DJ booth and a very large space behind the DJ booth for tables and booths and that whole thing. Really great view, especially once they have the Hard Rock Hotel Tower built. If you go on my Instagram, you can see pictures of the view from the DJ booth. I'm sure that will be very, very popular once it opens. It's a very large space back there and then kind of opens up. I would say that this day club is most similar to places like Marquee, but it's much bigger than that in terms of how they set it up. So I would say it's sort of like a mixture of Marquee and it's like Marquee. I would also say it's sort of like Live Beach in terms of having like the tier sort of setup. It's very similar to like Dre's Beach Club, which is now no longer here. But it is pretty decent space, lots of space to move. I think this is actually going to be a pretty decent size. Lots of booths, cabanas. Not very many day beds. I would say that that's one thing that I thought was interesting is that there weren't as many day beds once I sort of thought about it. But it was a pretty good little space. What else can we talk about it? The music you can't really base off of, but really good sound system, especially since like I was just like vibing out on there. Number one thing, it's going to be super duper hot. There is almost zero shade at this day club. Obviously, if you have a cabana or you have a umbrella at your like little like side booth table thing, you'll be fine. But we had an umbrella and it was 5:00, so essentially they would never be up that late. But when these places open, let's just say like 11:30 in the morning or noon, the sun is going to be almost right above you. And essentially by 2:00, the sun will be in the sort of western part of the sky, which there are no buildings there. Essentially, you have to wait until like almost like 6 for it to be almost gone. And then 7 or 8 is actually when it is gone. So I would definitely say that you're going to get lots of tans at this particular spot. 2 pools, 2 like sort of big pool areas. They also have their own private pools for all the cabanas, which are on the second tier, which was actually quite nice. So 2 staircases, lots of stairs. This is a big like lots of stairs at this particular beach club, which is kind of a lot of work. But what's nice is that if you are waiting in line, you do not have to wait outside because you're able to wait inside of the hotel as you enter through Omnia Nightclub, essentially. Overall, I thought that did a really good job with the space. I think that's going to be really great opening weekend. And it's going to be I think it's going to be kind of soft, to be honest with you. Just because the EDC weekend is kind of sneaky because a lot of people don't go to the day clubs because they're coming back from EDC and they are sleeping most of the day. And then they are, obviously going out to EDC itself. So it's always an interesting weekend. I think it's going to be hopefully not underwhelming, but it has the possibility of being so. Although on Sunday they are going to have Martin Garrix, which that would be super sick. Also, for anybody going back to this like talking to cocktail waitresses thing, my favorite thing to compliment is eyebrows. If you compliment the eyebrows, I've never gotten a negative reaction. It's actually wild. I can't believe I unlocked like the compliment that will get you kind of in the door that is unique and different. It's the eyebrows. So with that, we're going to move on. So moving on, I was in the center of the strip, which meant I had to do more than one thing, obviously. So I ended up checking out Mayfair Supper Club. Mayfair Supper Club, which was my old stomping grounds. Really one of like the first places that like I hung out at a lot. And I was like, I kept wanting to see what the new show was all about. And I saw a lot of stuff online. And I went in, got a seat, and I didn't like it. So I tried to have like the openness of mind, openness of minds going into the show. And I thought the singing was pretty good, not bad. There is no like live band from what I saw. I think there might be, but I really didn't see them. They still have the piano there. The stage moves up and down still. They moved the DJ from sort of like in the corner now to sort of like right next to the stage. Pretty big company in the band. Nobody is like unique, I would say. Like there's no like characters essentially. And the show itself has lots of acts. Like they have lots of things in it. So they have they have a ballerina who actually does like this really cool routine where she stands on these gigantic champagne bottles. Then we also have this another woman who hooks up her hair to like a pulley system above the stage, and she spins, and they do it to Claire de Lune, which is also there's a guy playing the piano, even though I saw him, he was not playing the piano, which is weird. But it's cool. Like those things are cool. I'm not gonna lie. Like those things are fun to watch, but nothing like felt cohesive in terms of the show itself. Like they all felt just like a mishmash of things, which quite possibly is kind of what they're going for. I mean, just look at Super Freako. There's no rhyme or reason to their sort of like supper club entertainment interactions, but I don't know. Like it felt, and I was talking with my mom about this as I was kind of coming home. It felt like a little bit cheap. Like it just felt like they were trying really hard to do this. And also, like, if I'm eating dinner, I don't want to have to constantly have to look up to see what's going on, and now I'm in a show. And I know that sounds so contradictory because the reason we go to these things is for it to be like a show. Like Elvis Presley used to have dinner shows all the time. But it just feels like disjointed and weird, and it's okay, now I have to watch this person, and then... And that was only a few of the shows, because I know that they do have one that has rollerblades, that's a thing that's been done a couple different ways. They have a couple other singers, which is, always cool. The outfits didn't really match because they were kind of all going for that evening gown, but like plucked out of the audience kind of look. And yeah, I just overall, and there was no like real interaction from what I saw, like with the crowd. Back the show before had a slightly more interactions, whether, maybe it being, fake, obviously. But, yeah, I just wasn't a fan of it. The menu itself for the drink menu, very like, very like your run-of-the-mill cocktails that they had on, on file. I did have one glass of wine while I was there. They didn't have the Bordeaux. I ended up with the Pinot, and it was just okay. Yeah, I was just like a little bit. And then Mike's cool bartender. He's a great guy. But they had like this new dish, which was like a lobster stir fry kind of thing, and it was gigantic. It was, it was $145 total. This one person was eating it, and it's not my thing. Like maybe for other people that's cool. Honestly, it might have been a different. It might have been a different lobster thing because they had another lobster. Oh, that was an accompaniment. That was $46. So yes, it was like $145 for that lobster thing this person was eating. But I don't know. Like I just felt there were a lot of people there, by the way. So like I should say that this place was full, and I think it might be working because it's like, okay, we're not Delilah. Like we tried, we are not there. So let's like do this other thing. And I think people are responding to it. Like they like the show aspect of it because they're probably just going to go to dinner. So maybe like this is the dinner and the show that they're willing to pay a little extra instead of buying, tickets for both dinner and a show. It's like, oh, I have dinner and like there's a show going on while I'm doing it. And the higher price on food is just, paying their salary. So I, for the most part, was not a fan of the new show. I don't go there as much anymore, so it's fine. But I do think this place is definitely like the Bachelorette hangout spot. For taking anybody who's older, I think might have a tough time with it. I did talk to a gentleman who was like in his 50s, and he seemed to be having a great time. But it was just okay. So hopefully they stay around a little bit longer, and good for them. But I don't know, just not my cup of tea anymore. Unfortunately, we all grow out of things that we once loved. But you're not a fan. Not a fan of the new Mayfair. Also, I did get a lot of questions about bars. So I got a lot of questions on bars when I was doing that Instagram question of the day kind of thing. And I got like a pushback on one of them. So one person actually said like, hey, Hard Shake is not that good a bar. Like the drinks are not good. I'd like to clarify. In my answer, when they said, what's the best bar in Las Vegas? I actually gave 3 bars. I said Collins Bar, and this is also on the Strip, so on the Strip specifically. So I said Collins Bar is, to me, one of the best cocktail bars on the Strip and really in the city because they can make any cocktail you want at a very high level, really good ingredients, a really good stock of spirits, and essentially they can make anything. Lots of competition bartenders or ex-competition bartenders over at the Collins Bar. Feels like a Vegas bar that James Bond would sit in if he had come to Vegas in 2026. The other bar that I recommended was the Beer Park. Beer Park for the more casual sort of person who wants to just have beer, but also a fantastic view. I do think Beer Park does a really fantastic job, and it feels very Vegas to me. Then the other one was Hard Shake, and Hard Shake I said for the views, because this is one that is essentially on the 23rd floor, I believe, of the Waldorf Astoria, and it feels very cool, up in the clouds, sort of. And I would say you go there for the views. I said this is the best bar with a view. And I thought their cocktails were actually quite fine. I don't think I actually got an old fashioned there, but I know that they could make it. I tried all the signatures that were there, or some of the signatures that were on the menu. So I think Hard Shake actually has very good views, and the drinks were more than passable. If you didn't like the type of signature cocktails they had, then I'm sorry, that's just not your thing. But I think one day we will rank. We're gonna rank all the the hotels from like my top 10 essentially, or like my worst ones going up to my favorite ones, because there are casinos that like property wide have either really great bartending or really terrible bars or bartending, which I feel like I have a pretty good grasp on at this point that I could give recommendations for. So that'll be a fun episode to do. I was going to do that this time, but then we had all these reviews. So with that being said, this is going to be a shorter episode today just because I'm tired and I had a lot of drinks at those events. But really appreciate you guys listening. Thank you so much for tuning in to Concierge Confidential. Make sure to follow us on all our socials, Concierge Confidential _LV on Instagram, at Keys to Vegas on the talk. And if you want to follow my personal account, it's Brian _Ortega26 if you want to follow me on the gram. So thanks so much, everybody. Really appreciate it. I'll see you guys next week. If you see me out in town, come up and say hello. But remember, keep it confidential.